In our previous episode, we returned to Mazatlan after a fantastic overland trip by train through the Copper Canyon. While in Mazatlan, we planned and provisioned for our first trip up into the Sea of Cortez. Before we could leave, however, I had to do a bit of engine maintenance, including engine and transmission oil changes, fuel filter changes, and replacing the impeller on the engine raw water pump. Yuck. We decided to go north to the town of Altata along the mainland coast and then sail across the sea to La Paz, instead of going directly to La Paz from Mazatlan. The main reason for this passage was I don't like passages longer than an overnighter, if it can be avoided, and a direct passage from Mazatlan to La Paz would take about 50 hours, including 2 overnights at sea. We easily made it out of the harbor at high tide and turned north for the 125 nautical mile trip to Altata at about 10 in the morning. We arrived in the vicinity of the Altata Bay entrance about 8 a.m. the following morning. Here we've arrived at the Altata Safe Water Buoy, marking the beginning of the marked channel into the bay. As shown on this map, the entrance to Altata Bay can be treacherous because of the large shoal area to the west, which must be avoided. The Mexican Navy has an adequate channel buoy system starting with the red and white safe water buoy to avoid these shoals, which create good-sized waves. These channel markers are consistent with a set of waypoints we got from the port captain in Mazatlan and the waypoints given in our breeding and Bandsmer guidebook. Turn left and head up towards Altata. I think this was the hard part. Very scary visuals occur. The ripples, the breakers, and land. I wonder how are you going to get through that? Through the miracle of waypoints, Google Earth, and my navigator. Looks like we're getting through. Way up there, about 10 miles, is Altata. Oh, nice, big one. Woo! I think I got that one.
And they're very big.
They are big, yeah. There we go. We'll catch them over here. I don't know the name of this bay. I don't think it's Baja de Altata. And this is our escort. I guess he's our pilot dolphins. Well, I'm getting closer. We're seeing some activities here. Once we made that left turn inside the entrance, it took us about 2 hours to get to an anchorage area in front of the main dock. Our first task after anchoring would be to go ashore to check in at the port captain's office and then to check out the town a bit. It was Thursday morning of Semana Santo, the week between Palm Sunday and Easter, and the town and the riverfront were alive. We would have to return later in the day since the official port captain was not there, and his assistant, who turned out to be his daughter, tried her best but couldn't process our paperwork.
Leaving the office, we walked right up to the first booth we saw and had fabulous raw oysters for 35 cents a piece. It seemed that oysters were a town specialty, along with a concoction that we tried made with coconut water, raw coconut, cucumber, shrimp juice, and shrimp. It was really delicious. Altata Bay is a major shrimping site, and although the shrimping season had just ended, we were able to buy some local shrimp at a market. We had rowed our dinghy ashore, but by the time we were ready to return to our boat, the wind had come up and there was a rough chop. Standing on the dock, trying to figure out what to do, a man came up to us who spoke English. He told us that he was part owner of a sailboat at the marina, and before we knew it, we were on a panga with our dinghy tied behind and were being dropped off at our boat. Really nice people.
It was just too much to try to row out here because the wind was howling. Okay, well, it's 3:30 and festivities are getting more underway. All these people riding the Malecon, food booths, drink booths, restaurants, boat rides, you name it, it's all going on here.
Boating activities picked up greatly as the afternoon wore on. It was quite a bit of fun sitting in the cockpit as boats zoomed or paraded by. Some would come by and wave to us, and we'd return the salutation. It looked like everyone was having a great time as they geared up for the upcoming Easter weekend.
Just came by to say hello. Well, this is more civilized. And here's another more civilized vehicle, watercraft. Oh, here comes the Mexican Navy. I wonder if they'll put a damper on the celebration or did they come with their bathing suits in hand and take a ride on a Tuesday?
We stayed aboard the boat until it began to get dark, and then, this time with the motor attached, we dinghied ashore for dinner. The dinner was disappointing, but the night's entertainment was definitely not. People gathered on the Malecon, which was lit up as bright as day with arching lights. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of people, young and old, with many families all enjoying the food booths, kites, restaurants, merchants, general raucousness, and the music of many bands. People would congregate around the different bands, and some of them would get the urge to dance. While standing at one venue, a woman approached me, and I got some Spanish time with her, although her message was a bit scary. She said that there are some dangerous people around here and to be careful. I commented to Richard that perhaps it's all part of still being in the state of Sinaloa. Altata is a mere 125 miles south of Los Mochis, where you may remember from our last episode is where drug kingpin El Chapo Guzman was captured a few months before our visit there. The party went on well into the wee hours of the morning, long after Richard had some more oysters, and we returned to our boat.
Good Friday morning, and what a difference between now and yesterday afternoon and evening. We're having breakfast. We're going to go ashore, walk around the town, go visit the Capitanía again, then we'll be back out here. Okay, it's Good Friday. We just came ashore. There's Ecobella sitting out there all by her lonesome. We put our dinghy right there. These two gentlemen over there helped us out. They're very friendly. So it's okay to leave her right there. And a lot of people here having breakfast. These gentlemen here are having a little beer with their breakfast. These folks over here are having Coca-Cola with their breakfast. But this is the start of the second day of celebrations here in Altata. Oh, there's Peggy down there taking some pictures. It blends right in with the crowd. Okay, lots of kites here because you get a good wind all afternoon here. There he is. I'm going to get me one of those kites. They're cool. Looks like they fly real easy. And we come to find out that that is the only hotel in town. Top floors are real cheap. And there's the Capitania's office over there. That's where we have to stop in and get our exit papers.
Richard found some Allen wrenches he needed in a nicely stocked general store. Next, we stopped at the port captain's office. The young woman was there, but this time her father, the real port captain, was there too. After about 10 minutes, we had the paper we needed and were on our way. The port captain told us we could get some diesel fuel by renting a car and driving to an out-of-town gas station to fill up our plastic jerry cans, or call a fellow named Roberto who could get us fuel at the marina, which was about 4 miles further up into the bay. We came upon a small tienda where I picked up some fresh fruit, and then a nice fish store where we picked up some fish.
Looks like they have a little basket full, and that's it.
With the fantastically developed Malecon and boating facilities, it was surprising to find that the town basically has one paved street, the rest being dusty dirt roads. When we returned to the boat, we called Roberto at the marina, and he said that he'd have 64 liters of fuel for us and could bring it out to us, or we could come to the marina. We thought, why not? It would be interesting to go to the marina, and Roberto assured us that we could navigate the shallow water by following the channel markers. So we said, okay, we'll be there in about an hour and a half.
As can be seen on this Google Earth map, we'd motor a little ways from our anchorage to where the water gets real shallow, with the assurance that there is a marked channel through this maze of sandbars leading to the marina and fuel dock. Well, we made it to the first set of markers, but couldn't see any more except some bare poles with no markings on them. So I moved along to what I thought might be the right way, but as we moved slowly, we touched bottom. We were able to back off and get unstuck, but thought better about proceeding on our own. So we called Roberto again and asked him if he could have someone come and pilot us to the marina, which he did. After docking at the marina, Roberto met us along with a young woman who stayed with us, while 3 young men appeared with 2 huge containers of diesel fuel and proceeded to empty them into our fuel tank. Roberto told us that he had purchased 100 liters, not 64 as we had discussed, at 15 pesos per liter, or about $90 US. We inquired if there was a charge for the pilot and for them transporting the fuel from a gas station. As it turned out, this marina had no diesel fuel, and Roberto and the woman wouldn't come up with an additional price, so we decided to give them 2,000 pesos, about $120 US, or about $4.50 US per gallon, and they seemed happy with that. After the transfer, we discussed how to get back to the anchorage. The tide had dropped significantly, so I asked Roberto if he could have the pilot guide us back. He said sure, but we had to wait about 2 hours before he could do it. The marina was crazy busy with personal watercrafts and speedboats. Heading back, it was amazing to be gliding along on the water with a depth of 16 feet and look 10 feet to starboard or port and see sandbars. Well, we made it back okay, anchored for the night, and prepared for a departure tomorrow morning for La Paz. The following morning, we left our anchorage at about 7:30 in the morning for the overnight trip to La Paz. We wanted to arrive at the bay entrance, or exit now, about 10 a.m. to take advantage of a high slack tide. We made it out of the bay with the same trepidation as we had coming into the bay at about 11 a.m. and turned west toward La Paz. We planned to complete the approximately 155 nautical mile trip across the sea in about 30 hours for a 16:30 arrival tomorrow afternoon. The sea was like a lake with light winds and sunshine, and we had an enjoyable crossing, motoring most of the way to La Paz. Okay, we're breaking out of Altata. What we got going here. Let's see, got breakers on the right. All the way out there. And we got shallows on the left here. Two buoys there. Came pretty close to that red one. There's the greenie. Ah, beautiful breakers over here now. I'm glad we're here, not there. Like you are. Oh, you need a shade, huh? Sunshade.
Yeah.
Well,
A little bit of time out here.
we decided to come sit up front here, get out of the cockpit. Noisy back there with the motor running. Oh, I see the boom needs to be tied down. I did buy a cool kite in Altata and decided to give it a try. What with this nice apparent wind. The following morning we awoke to find some guests on board. We've had small flying fish land on the deck, but never such a nice collection of calamari. We decided not to cook them and sent them back into the sea.
That one. Happy knowing this. Oh, there's that one.
Well, it's Easter Sunday morning, about 9 a.m., and we are approaching the San Lorenzo Channel that will take us to Bahia de la Paz. We noticed that as we approached Isla Cerralvo, here on the left, it reminded us of the approach to Santa Cruz Island from the south, off of Santa Barbara, California, our home port.
We had the main and the jib up most of the night last night, as the wind came up to about 15 knots, I believe.
Here we've rounded the peninsula that forms the east side of Bahia de la Paz, and we're motoring southeast toward the Costa Baja marina. This is the Baja ferry leaving La Paz on its way to Mazatlan or Topolobampo. Costa Baja Marina, where we will stay, is straight ahead here. And to our right are the buoys that mark the channel that guide boats and yachts around the shoal banks and sandbars, the roughly 5 nautical miles to La Paz and its marinas and anchorages. Marina personnel told us to tie up at the fuel dock end of a long dock and go over to the office to check in. There were 2 other sailboats at the dock and 1 impressive yacht tied up at the far end. We were told that the yacht belonged to the Steve Jobs family and that he wanted the design to include having the cabin tops on the back half of the deck represent 2 iconic Apple products. The lower cabin top represents an iPad and the upper cabin top an iPhone. Mission accomplished. The accommodations here at the Costa Baja Marina are excellent, and in addition to the marina, there are a couple of exclusive hotels, a golf course, and businesses and restaurants encircling the marina. Our stay here was relaxing and very enjoyable as we explored La Paz and planned our next adventures exploring the Sea of Cortez, which we will pick up in our next episode.